Hello there everybody, this is Krista and welcome back to the Krista Chronicles, and today we're doing a super fun tag that was just put out by Angel from Feeding My Soul 121 called the hashtag Show Us Your Decks. And so what Angel did with this is came up with a list of 15 just kind of random questions, and I'm doing it how I perceived she did it in her video, where read the question, then find the deck, except for the first one, because, I don't know, I figured we would just get started. And the questions were so fun and like so random, like I said. It was such a joy to watch. If you don't watch Angel, totally recommend. She is a true hoot and a half. So I will have her video linked down below, of course. But let's just get into it. I'm excited. It's just a tag to have fun and play with your decks. My favorite kind. So let's get into it. Question number 1. I've got them all written down as I was watching. A deck you want to use but hasn't seen any time on your reading desk yet. For me, that's the Drag Queen Oracle. This is a new one for me. I guess technically it's been on my desk because I did do a full walkthrough, but I have not done a reading with this deck yet. I am so excited about it. There's really no particular reason I haven't. Honestly, I think really I've just been doing I would say it's still new, a new system with how I use my decks, in that I've been choosing really throughout the month 8 different pairings to work with, and so I'm holding on to this one for June. Pride Month. Slay, right? Yes. And I'm so excited. It's colorful, it's fun, it's beautiful. I love all the figures, I love the cards. Ugh. So I plan on this pairs really nicely with the Queer Tarot. Why does that not sound like the right name? That is what it's called. Hold on. You know when something just like sounds not right coming out of your mouth? Like that had to be wrong? But I think that's it. It is the Queer Tarot. Yes. So, she hasn't gotten a reading yet, but there's plans. I'm very excited. So, on to question number 2. Prompt number 2 is the deck that is the 12th from the right in your tarot storage or shelf, whatever you decide. So I have a lot of different options. There's many different places I keep decks, but I figured to keep it a little bit more random, I have a cedar chest that I put all the decks in that I'm currently not working with. And I don't know, I just thought that'd be fun. So I counted 12 from the right, and we ended up with the Dark Woods Tarot. I love this deck. Oh my gosh, there's something about it that, it's just so good. It's so good. So she is put away right now because this tends to be more so like a fall-winter deck for me. But it is one of my favorites. I love the spooky feel of it, but I also love the slight cartooniness. Something about the illustrations feel so, like, rich and... Oh, I can't even put into words, like... Does anyone else have this? I think it is from what I've read, a neurodivergent thing where, like, it causes, like... No, what's the term I'm thinking of? It's a term I've been learning about called autistic joy, where it's like, it's this feeling, like, this visceral, like, body feeling of, like, oh my gosh, like, it makes me want to just, like, squeeze my hands really tight because it makes me so joyful. I just love it. I have decks that causes that. Oh, maybe that would be a fun video to do, huh? Because there are decks where it's, like, something about the illustrations, it just makes me want to, like, do this out of excitement. that probably sounds nonsensical, but anyway, that is my deck. That was the 12th from the right in my tarot chest. Prompt number 3 is a deck you are contemplating rehoming. Ooh. Alright. For me, I've talked about it before, I've got my little timeout bin, where it doesn't necessarily mean I'm gonna rehome it, and but we're pondering. So I pulled this from there, but I kind of feel a bit confident that this one is going to get a rehome. It's Unlocking the Secret Garden Oracle. And certainly not because it's bad. You know what? And I say that, and now I'm already like, I don't know. I think what it is, I think this deck is so beautiful. I think for some reason, though, it reminds me a lot of the Coastal Curiosities Oracle, which I love so much and have such a bond with, that when I want this kind of like nature collage oracle situation, I'm gonna go to Coastal Curiosities. And from playing around with the both of them, I discovered that they pair with a lot of the same things, and yeah, to me it felt like a redundancy in my collection, and so yeah. And again, it's just that I have such a bond with the Coastal Curiosities, and this just, I don't know, it feels like it fills the same hole. But I will say, like, the guidebooks on them do make them totally different, and so it does make me want to play around with it a bit more. I love that raccoon. But ultimately, I think there might be a bit too similar feeling, so this is one that I'm considering a rehome on. And that is the Unlocking the Secret Garden Oracle. Number 4, a deck you don't store in its original box, which, as a tarot bag maker, is quite a lot. So what I thought I would do is, I don't know, this is feeling like a bold statement now. I was gonna say chose the deck in a bag that is, I don't want to say like my favorite, it's one of my favorites. I have quite a lot that I like. So this is just one I am particularly proud of, and thinking about like the reason behind putting the deck in the bag, because sometimes they have perfectly good boxes and I just make it a bag anyway. So, not the case with this though. This is the Pastoral Tarot, and I don't know, something about the butterfly patches I love so much. And I've got this little blue flower and little gold butterfly charm. I just love it. I don't often make bags for myself anymore. It really depends. But I really love like really taking the time to make something. I like making all my bags. They all feel special to me, but like really getting to make a particular bag for a particular deck. And I don't know, I just feel like I nailed it on this one personally. So here's the backs on the Pastoral Tarot. And the reason I made a bag for this one is, if my memory is serving me correctly, it had quite the big box. So generally I will, like, this is US Games deck, so that's not necessarily typical for them, but like the Llewellyn box sets, those always get some kind of bag because I just don't like keeping them in those big boxes, as gorgeous as they are. I tend to store the boxes, or I will use them for a different purpose, like storing craft supplies, and put them in a bag and keep the book on a shelf. But I think this deck is really beautiful. It's different because it is a landscape deck instead of the usual portrait, but I love the art in this, and I just think the bag really fits the vibe of the deck, in my humble opinion. Ooh, this would be one. To me, this feels like a May and June kind of deck. A bit warmer than it is right now in my area. but not where it's in that like heat of the summer. This is all mixed around. I don't really know why. But yes. So that is a deck I don't keep in its original box. The Pastoral Tarot. Number 5 is a deck with more than 78 cards. Now, I was going to maybe think about sticking to tarot, because I do have tarot decks with more than 78 cards, but I'm such an oracle gal. I'm a big oracle gal, so we're gonna bring oracles into this because I wanna. And so my pick for this is the Memento Mori Oracle, very mysteriously placed in a, this is the bag from the Magical Creatures Tarot, but, oh, actually that would have been a good pick too. That has more than 78 cards, but anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes, like, I do love getting bags with decks, because I end up most of the time storing something else in there, but then it just feels right. Something about this magical crow felt right for the Memento Mori. I did at one point have a bag I made for it, but I don't really know what happened. Anyways, as you can see, quite a lot more than 78 going on here. I truly love how this deck is like feels like a living, breathing thing because of how Claire Goodchild goes about it. In that I am part of her Patreon, and once a month she releases new cards you can get. We get a card of the year, and so this deck is like forever growing and changing, and I often will kind of flip through it, and I continuously lose it. I don't know how I keep doing that, because I found it and then I don't know where I put it. But anyway, I've got another separate bag of extra cards for this, and periodically I will go through the deck, go through all of the cards and rebuild my deck, and it's just so fun. I really love doing it. I love kind of getting to customize it in that way and decide, like, with the new cards, like, is this one I want to add or not? Like, there's a Patreon card, the Rowan Cross, so beautiful. Just truly one of my favorites. And she does custom cards. I have one of those. It's fantastic, truly. So, that is my deck with more than 78 cards. Prompt number 6 is a deck with a cloud on the box. So, after some searching, I actually have quite a few that had clouds on it, but the one that popped in my head first is what I went with, and it's the I'm Here Oracle, because we've got this little ghosty guy resting in the clouds. I mean, that is the ultimate deck with a cloud on the box, right? Oh, and look at that. It's right, the card is right on top. I love this deck. It is so gentle and soothing. I love the advice it gives. It is meant to, what is it meant to do? Take some time to care for your inner child, hang out with your higher self, and be present with the wonderful you. I'm Here is a deck of 50 cards that explore ideas for gentle ways to heal and connect with yourself. And that is truly exactly what it accomplishes. I don't know, I just love the feeling of this. It's, gentle is the perfect word. Gentle, yet productive. Oh, and look at that, we've got clouds on the backs. I love the illustration style. I love the things I can pair this with. It's just a good deck to bring out if I'm feeling overwhelmed and just want something active to do, like a card that's going to give me something, an actionable step. I really love this for that. So that is the I'm Here Oracle, a deck with the cloud on a box. All right, this next prompt I think is definitely so far, and I think will be the hardest one I have to do. Because prompt number 7 is a deck you have never shown on your channel. I don't know. I talk so much. And I feel like I don't know, I just share everything. This was really a challenge to try and find something that I'm like, that I have never shown. I have a lot of decks that like didn't get any sort of dedicated video, but I'm like, at one point or another, between just my new deck digest, so it's like, okay, anything I've gotten in since starting those have been shown, and all like pairing videos, things like that. Like, I feel like I've shown everything, but I did find one that I don't believe I have shown, and it is my mini Thoth deck. And to be honest, I didn't even remember I had it. I am pretty certain I bought this just as, I don't know, to have, to reference. If I'm ever like curious about something with the Thoth, or, you know, maybe someday I'll read with it. I don't know. Does it interest me? Not really. Which is why I feel like I haven't shown it. Because I'm like, to me, not interesting. I have a real thing about that with like the OG decks, like the Thoth, RWS. I don't know. I just don't really read with them. But I like having, I have copies of them to look at, reference, and again, just to have, because it feels like a piece of tarot history. But I really don't think I've shown this because I don't use it. She's pretty, but yes, I really think that could be the only deck I've never shown. Because even the RWS I have, I do think I have shown, because I do actually like that. I have the Albino weight, and I do use that sometimes. Not often, but I do like it. So yes, that is the deck I've never shown on my channel. It's the Mini Thoth. Prompt number 8, we have a deck with with another animal besides a lion in the Strength card. I didn't check beforehand. I just think I'm pretty certain about this, so we're going to discover together. I have the Heartwood here, and I am pretty sure there is not a lion in this Strength card, but we're going to have to discover this right now. Maybe I should have gone through to find it, but that's okay. We're getting a little flip through. Come on. Where are you? What a pretty deck. I do love this deck. Come on. Ooh, this would have been a good one for more than 78 cards too. I forgot it's got those, the extra oracle cards with it. You know, when you're looking for something, it can never just be in the beginning. Always how it goes. Should we start from the back? Then it's going to be towards the front. Jeez Louise, there. Ah, yes! Yes, yes, yes. Strength. The strength in the Heartwood Tarot has a mouse and a snake. There's my answer. So, my deck that has an animal other than a lion in the Strength card is the Heartwood Tarot. Number 9, a deck that comes in a box inside another box. And I think I've got quite a few that do this, but immediately I thought of the Find Your Magic Tarot. This is from US Games, and this, for certain, had an initial bigger box that had this tuck box in it with the bigger guidebook. And I always find that interesting. I don't really necessarily have qualms with it other than, like, I don't know, resources, but I will say, when the decks I have that's happened, I do really like the tuck boxes. They're very sturdy tuck boxes. And so, because I'm not a big box keeper, that was stored away somewhere, so I don't have the bigger box to show currently because I just keep it in its, oh, how beautiful is that world card? I love this deck. I keep it in its tuck box and the book on the shelf, as mentioned before. But yes, I really, really love this one. I'm not much for modern looking people in my decks, but this is absolutely an exception, and I think because it brings such a fantasy element with it. The guidebook for this is fantastic. I really enjoy working with this one. So, that's my deck with a box inside of another box, and that is the Find Your Magic Tarot. Okay, number 10. That was another hard one. A deck that would never be in your top 10. Oh my gosh. Like, never. That was hard. However, I think I landed on a good answer. My deck that, and I wanted to go, so I was thinking, like, well, I could go back into, like, my timeout bin, but that, I don't know. I don't even want to say never on some of those, because they're kind of in limbo right now. I wanted to go with something that is, like, I'm gonna keep it, but it's just not gonna be in my top 10. I really couldn't see that happening. It's the Hermetic Tarot. And that's because this is another one that, I don't know, I have it more for curiosity's sake. I was really fascinated by the, what are those called? These titles here, I think it has to do with the decans, question mark? And I don't know, it was something I got because I saw, I'm pretty sure Marlon and Teresa was talking about this in regard to her deck and walk. I do believe. And I just thought that was such an interesting layer, having this title at the bottom, so Justice being Daughter of the Lord of Truth, Lord of Flame and Lightning for Knight of Wands, and like kind of seeing where they compare and contrast, and just Three of Swords being the Lord of Sorrow, having that in my head, really interesting. I like sometimes pulling readings with other decks and looking for the title in this deck, but it's just, other than that, I mean, this is just not my vibe, you know what I mean? Like the black and white, and I just don't have much of an interest in like anything else, because I don't do any sort of deck and walks. I think it's really interesting, but any sort of like planetary, astrological, it just kind of goes over my head. And so never feels like such a strong word, but I would be very surprised if this ended up in a top 10. To me, again, this is something to have because I like the information in it is interesting to me, but I'm thinking like top 10 of decks that I use, and this is just not one that I really use to read. I just think it's interesting. Yeah, so that is my deck that would never be in my top 10. The Hermetic Tarot. Number 11, we have a deck you associate with the color green. I feel like I actually had quite a few options, because I love green, I love nature decks, but, and I won't lie, there was one that popped into my head first, but she's getting used for a later prompt. So looking around, my eye landed on this one, and I was like, yes, that is such a green deck. It is Tarot of the Huntress. Although I'm realizing now, wait, I have a deck that is like literally green. But you know what? This is one I thought of. So we're going with this, and I love this deck. So this is a deck dedicated to, why is my brain going so blank? Artemis. Artemis. So look at these backs. Beautiful, green, lovely. And the fronts are very foresty, nature, trees, gardens. So green. There's so much green going on. And so when I think of this deck, it's particularly to this like really deep forest green. So I've got kind of decks that remind me of different shades, but this deep forest green is one of my favorites. And so I think that's why my mind went to that. So yes, I definitely associated this with the color green. A lot of the times when I'm thinking of pairings, I do sort of keep a color that stands out to me with the deck in mind, and this one is definitely one that I'd be like, okay, I'm pairing green here. Like, what goes with green? Because it just, even though some of the color, or some of the cards don't have so much green in it, it's just got a general green vibe, don't you think? So, that is my deck that makes me think of the color green, and that is Tarot of the Huntress. Prompt number 12, we've got a secondhand pre-loved deck. Now, this is actually a lot of my collection. I love getting decks secondhand. I don't know, I think it's just fun. It's fun knowing that it was once loved and used by someone else and now I get to use it. And also cost effective. We love that. We love that kind of slang. So, this was kind of hard. It was hard to think of. So what I ended up thinking was, I was like, could I do my latest one? But I just showed that in a new deck digest. That would be the Cat's Eye Tarot. Instead, what I was thinking is, why don't I show my probable, like, most favorite secondhand find? And that for me is the Gaian Tarot, but not just any Gaian Tarot. It is the Llewellyn first mass market printing of the Gaian Tarot. So it is this one here with just the white borders. Now it is printed by Schiffer. It used to have the big blue borders on the glossy cardstock. Now they're coming out with a new version. I'm not quite sure what's going on there because there's still like an extra border, but it's green. I don't know about the cardstock, but anyway. I love this version. I had the Schiffer version as well, and it was one of those things where I was like, I'd love to find a copy of this, but personally I just didn't want, I wasn't gonna pay any sort of like exorbitant amount for it. It very randomly came up on eBay one day for maybe a little bit more than what it would have cost to get it mass market. Oh my gosh, I have to say, if there's an out-of-print deck you're looking for, patience and like checking, saving a search, totally key. Because there are so many I have found for very reasonable prices, and this is one of them, and oh my gosh, I can like still remember the joy and excitement I felt finding that. I have truly never purchased something quicker because I was like, I need to get this before anyone else spots the find. Ugh, I love this deck so much. And it's one of those things, I really am not like any sort of stickler for cardstock, but the difference between this and the Schiffer version is, it's just night and day. Where I liked that version, but I just didn't really use it. This feels like a totally different deck, and it's one that I use all the time, especially going into the spring and summer months. I love this. It was such an exciting find. So, that is my secondhand pre-loved deck, the Gaian Tarot. Next prompt, we have a deck with the most used guidebook. Now, this was another tricky one for me because if there's one thing about me, I am a guidebook user. I love guidebooks. Most of the, like, most readings I do, I'm bringing out the guidebook because I love reading them. I really love reading guidebooks. So it's rare that I really am using decks without their guidebook. You know what I mean? And even if it's a little white book, like, I want to know. I want to know what it says. I love it. It's so much fun to me. So most used it would just basically be going on like most used deck. Whoa, dropping the deck. Most used decks, technically, since I'm always using guidebooks. So I decided to go with a deck that, to me, the guidebook feels integral to the use of the deck. You know what I mean? Because, like, I am a big guidebook user because I just really like to. Do I have to? With a lot of my decks, no. I just like to. So this is one, though, where, like, if I didn't have the guidebook, I would be confused. That's what I decided to go with. And for me, that's the Shakespeare Tarot from Welkin. Beautiful, beautiful deck. Those backs, yes. Oh, we've got 2 landscape decks in this video. How interesting. So, first of all, it's not even always obvious, like, what card it is we're looking at. You get these characters for the different cards. You get these quotes. So, like, well, yes, technically you could use it without the guidebook. I think it would be very difficult, to be honest. And I feel like I've heard that review of people who, like, really aren't big guidebook users find this one a little bit unwieldy. However, look at this guidebook it comes with. Look at how thick that is. It's a textbook. So for every card, you get so much information, and it really is so intertwined with Shakespeare's work, the different characters. If there's a quote that appears on the card, you're going to get that explained to you. It is full of so much rich information that, to me, like, to get the full effect of this deck, using the guidebook is so necessary. So that's how I decided to interpret this one, because I'm a big guidebook user. I know that wasn't really the question, but I looked at it as like, if I had to pick one deck to keep the guidebook for, and I couldn't use the guidebook for any other deck, I'd keep this one. Because, like, it's so necessary to me. I love it. It's so fun to use. So, that is my deck with the most used guidebook, and that's the Shakespeare Tarot. Prompt number 14. A deck with water on the box. And this one was easy, because I've got a new one. Newer one to me. The new Tempest Tarot from US Games. Yes, it's an part under the sea, part above the sea on the beach and pirate ships. It's pirate and mermaid themed. And there's the water on the box. So fun. I love this deck. I love, again, like, how it is an ocean-themed deck, but very much leans into pirate energy. That really does it for me. Because as I say every time I pull out a water deck, I'm not a big I'm not a big beach ocean person. There are mysteries there that I do not wish to be floating above. That's how I feel about that. I don't mind sitting on the beach. I don't know. It's just not my thing. But pirates? Yes. Love a pirate. That's interesting. I should think about that. I don't know. I like it as an idea. But yeah, I love this deck. I've been using it a ton. It's so, so fun. These backs are everything. So that's my deck with water on the box. All right, and last but certainly not least is number 15. A deck that has your favorite card and why. So the deck with probably my favorite card is the Forest of Enchantment. Are we surprised? I saw on the Llewellyn website the Forest of Enchantment Oracle is coming so soon. Oh my gosh, like, the way time works is crazy. So we're gonna do the thing of, I didn't pull this out beforehand, we're just gonna search for it. This deck, honestly, like, every card in this deck is so perfect to me, but there is one card in particular that anytime I pull this card in another deck, I think of this image. It just, something about it really resonated with me. I just love it. I love it so much. Where is she gonna be? Where's she gonna be? Come on. Really? Like, it's like the decks know when you're looking for one. It's always gotta be at the end. Come on. There it is. It is the, in this deck it's called the Four of Challenges, but is the Four of Swords in this deck. Oh my gosh, something about this image, like I can remember the first time I saw it. It was like, oh my gosh. I don't know, it was one of the first times I really saw a card that went so outside of the RWS, but like I immediately saw how it connected to that meaning. So thinking of the Four of Swords as a time of rest, to me it's like, it is really like, we have that usual image of the knight truly laying down to rest. And something about this, the way rest is shown in this picture of the whole world around this tree is frozen, and yet the tree remains vibrant and full of life and clearly like in the process of growing. It makes me think of like those, when you get to the winter time and socializing tends to slow down, at least for me, and just sort of like getting to hermit yourself in your house and the possibilities of the things you can do and work on when you get to be completely alone in those moments, which is something I really love. And so I think that's why I love this card so much, because it makes me think of that, of like when I can have so much opportunity for time by myself without any sort of pressure from anywhere else. It's like those are the moments like I feel so myself, I feel so good. And that's what this card feels like it says to me, of like the whole world around it is frozen. Time has almost like stood still. And it makes me think of when there's a fresh snow and you go outside and everything is silent and still. Oh, I love it. I love this card so much. I think about it a lot, clearly. So yeah, that is my deck that has my favorite card. It's the Forest of Enchantment Tarot. My favorite of all time. I love it so much. And that, my friends, is that. So thank you so much to Angel for creating this. What a fun time. Again, I will link the original video below. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend. She had me cracking up the whole time. What a delightful, delightful person to watch. I love her channel. Anyways, that being said, I hope you're all having a wonderful day so far. I'll have all the decks linked below that I can find. But other than that, I'll see you again very soon.